this is a really special episode for us because it's our first episode with a guest.
I mean, I helped you get this house, but you helped me get my job, so...
There are issues though,
They
right?
are. The biggest problem is people find the house first. No. It is the biggest purchase that you're probably ever going to make.
Heavily pregnant, we need a house.
Let's go. We're going to sell, we're going to rebuy, we're changing figures.
What the hell are you guys doing?
I mean, the plan originally was an investment
Oh yeah,
for you guys, and here we are. We made it work.
we did make it work. Your 10%'s down.
Exactly.
And not many people can just kiss goodbye to 10%.
It's a lot of money to risk.
What do you mean there's no basic salary?
Get rid of it, then done.
If you're tuning in for the first time, this is At Home with the Hutchinsons, and I am Cameron, one of your hosts, and I'm joined.
With me, Amelia, the other host.
And I have to say, this is a really special episode for us because it's our first episode with a guest, and it's not just any old guest. Now, before I introduce who she is, I'm going to say this. She is somebody who is very special to me and Amelia. And it's a classic example of when business and pleasure and friends and colleagues, it kind of just mixes. Our story with Amy goes back a long time ago to West Yorkshire. But more importantly, Amy is the person who helped us secure the very home that we are sitting in now, which of course is our set for At Home with the Hutchinsons. Amy.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome. What an
And
honour.
I guess thank you so much for joining us for our first guest. I guess to give some context, the story started with my mom.
It did, Maxine.
We love Maxine.
We love Maxine.
Who came into the Mortgage Advice Bureau in Bingley, which is where you were working at the time. And she came to seek some mortgage advice.
She did. But not with me, with Megan.
With Megan.
Just shout out to Megan.
So she actually did her mortgage with Megan, but
Yeah.
you were there.
I was there.
And she happened to say, "Oh, my son works in Dubai. You should so go and work in Dubai." You didn't at that particular time.
No, I didn't. Megan was going to. She didn't either. A few years went on, and here we are.
And here we are. A few years is I mean, we've left a humongous chunk of the story out, but yes, a few years have passed, and you've worked for Allsop and Allsop for a period of time. Had a brief hiatus somewhere else before you came back to Allsop and Allsop.
6 years, 7 years.
6 years with us,
6 years.
and then a brief hiatus somewhere else, and then you came back.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive into everything mortgage related and just how you juggle being a mom
Yeah.
and operating in a commission-only role. But to bring it back to why you're special to us, you helped us secure our home. And
did.
you've been on the journey with us for
Always.
the journey.
From day one.
You've seen us pre-baby, we've seen you pre-baby, we've seen you post-baby, you've seen us post-house, pre-house, and everything in between. And it's a real honour and a pleasure to have you with us. Now, for the guests that don't know you, what's your name? I know where we
Amy.
come from, but what's your name and
From
what do you
Howard.
do?
I am a mortgage advisor.
Yes, give us some more info.
I am a mortgage advisor. I work at Allsop and Allsop. Have done since 2019. I mean, I helped you get this house, but you helped me get my job. So you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah, it's a nice partnership.
Yeah, and like we say, I'm a mum. My son is 3, nearly 4. It's gone very fast. And that brings us to here today.
Here today. Okay, so I think based on the fact that you are a mortgage advisor and specifically you are our trusted mortgage advisor here in Dubai,
Yes.
always, what would you say is, I guess, a common misconception that people have when they're thinking about buying a property in Dubai?
Yes, the big issues.
There are issues though,
They
right?
are. So the biggest problem is people find the house first. No.
Guilty.
Find the house first and then realise either they can't afford said house, or we need to move too many things to make said house happen, or they could have afforded something that they didn't think they could have afforded. So the biggest thing is every time I speak to a client, we haven't found the house yet. We haven't found the house yet. Get your finances in order first.
Yeah.
Know what you can borrow, know how much it's going to cost you, you do not want to go window shopping houses and then find out, actually, this is going to cripple me and I can't afford to leave said house
Yes.
for the next 15 years.
Or 25, if that's the length of the mortgage. Yeah, of course.
Or 25. So speak with a mortgage advisor, get your ducks in a row, find out about fees, like broker fees, insurances per month, because everything adds up. And obviously, it is the biggest purchase that you're probably ever going to make. And you want to know what it's going to cost you before you go and fall in love with the house and then have it whipped away.
Yes. So actually, if we rewind to our situation, Mrs. heavily pregnant, we need a house.
But not heavily pregnant in that when we first spoke.
No, so the plan originally was an investment
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
for you guys.
You
Yeah.
see, so much has gone on. I
But
forget.
this was just weeks before Gabriel appeared. Not
Yes.
appeared, but before we conceived him. So we were looking at buying
So
an
it was
investment.
originally
Yeah.
investment.
It was, you're right. Yeah.
And then we were doing the numbers, and then now you get a phone call. Yeah, we need to increase like 4 times our budget.
And we're going to sell the current property that we own.
We're going to sell, we're going to rebuy, we're changing figures. Let's go.
And I have to say, one thing that we really respected when we were dealing with you back then is that you didn't pry or ask questions, because back then, obviously we decided, we wanted to buy an investment, which you were helping us with. And then all of a sudden we got the news that was, actually, we're growing. But I really liked, even though you were a friend, you didn't, even if you didn't think to ask, you didn't ask. And it was just
Yeah.
nice because we were able to come to you with the information. You were able to then repackage another deal for us, and then we were able to make it happen. But at the time, you were probably thinking, what the hell are you guys doing?
I mean, you did not want to let Old Town go.
No.
And then you just were like, yeah, we're letting it go. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. It was a full 360.
But then arriving here, and
Yeah.
I guess why I'm saying this is because we'd had the conversation with you before about wanting to increase the
Yeah.
budget. But when we found this house, it was like, hi, you know that budget that we spoke about?
There was
Well,
lots of moving parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
And that is another thing about speaking to an advisor. So a bank might just say, this is what you can borrow right now. That's it. Whereas obviously we juggled different banks with different stress tests. We played with credit card limits. Like we did what we need to do to make it work.
Yeah.
And here we are. We made it work.
We did make it work.
And
Many
not
hurdles.
only that, they changed the DLD rules on fees
Yeah.
Yes.
halfway through. So we were up against
We
the
had to
clock
get
with
it
that.
through, didn't we, in a certain time before.
Yeah.
it
So
changed, yeah.
just for context, you used to be able to load in the DLD fees, the 4%, the 2% into the mortgage. They kindly announced mid-transaction they were stopping that in February 2025. So we were at crunch time.
Yeah, it was a crunch time. And I remember being on the phone to you thinking, we probably can't actually buy the house. Maybe.
I was the queen of silver linings.
Well, you were.
I
listen,
was the queen of silver linings at that point.
you were the queen
You
of
were.
silver linings, but it doesn't stop that utter fear of, oh my God, we've
gone
said we
all
want
this
it.
way.
We're in. We've signed checks. Like, it's done.
Yeah.
We've got to make it happen. So then, can we just rewind a minute then? Because there will be people watching this podcast that probably don't know where to even begin. So you've said, okay, don't fall in love with the house first, find an advisor, etc. But let's just pull it right back. I'm somebody who wants to buy in Dubai right now. Give me a step by step of what that person does and potentially what costs are involved.
Okay, so first of all, we need to know if you have a salary, if you have your own business, what that looks like, what your fixed income is. Then we look at your liabilities, existing properties, existing mortgages, loans, car loans, credit cards, the full thing. Age plays a massive factor as well. We can't go over the age of 65, some cases 70. So we need to factor all of that in to get your maximum borrowing. So within that, we then need to work out, is that going to give you the house that you want? If it doesn't, what can we do to make it give you the house that you want? Can we pay off car loans? Do you only have 6 months left of that? Maybe it's cheaper to pay that off than to borrow less money from the bank. So we kind of play with the numbers, a bit of a sliding scale to make it fit. If we can't make it fit, then that's when you say, bring your expectations down.
Yeah. So then
or find more money from your side.
Are we saying then that actually before somebody even decides that they want to buy a property, they really do need to have a bit of an assessment on their finances?
100%. Even if you don't want to submit a pre-approval, at least speak to an advisor and get your ceiling amount. So at least then you know, right, okay, this is what I can afford. If we find something that's slightly over, can we pull resources of extra cash to build up the down payment to make it happen? Otherwise, bring down your expectations slightly. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm that person again. I've done a deep dive on my accounts, my finances. I've reduced credit card limits. I've gotten rid of any subscriptions or payments or things that I want to do. I've spoken to you. You've said, look, this is your limit. This is how much it's going to cost you. We then go to the websites to view properties. We go, we find, and we secure a property that we like. At that point, what am I putting down?
So the agent will ask you for a 10% check. It's not cashed. That is your deposit. It's only cashed if you breach the contract. So you decide just halfway through, actually, I found a better house. I don't want this anymore. That's not going to get you out.
Okay.
You need to fulfill the terms of the contract, or that check is getting cashed.
I think that's really important. Coming from the UK, it's a very different process. We have sold one house and are selling another, and we've had multiple offers that haven't come through. And I think that's really important to know.
100%. In the UK, I sold my house in Haworth. Big up Haworth.
Big up the house.
And it took a year. We went through offers and offers to the point where I was on the phone to the agents being like, I'll accept the offer, but I don't want you to stop viewing.
Yeah.
And he was like, we can't do that. And I was like, no, I'm taking it off the market multiple times for the buyers to just find something else because they can carry on viewing. This is not fair on the sellers.
Yeah, agreed.
So obviously here it's a bit different. You are locked in. You do risk 10% if you just change your mind. So from that aspect, obviously you are putting down money.
But I like it because what we're basically saying is you're putting down money, but actually if we just evaluate the process that we've just discussed then, what we're saying is if somebody is viewing a property and they're making an offer, they are serious about wanting to buy that property. Whereas I do feel like in the UK and maybe other jurisdictions, it's like, oh, fancy like going and viewing houses and making offers today.
And then you keep going.
And then, but as you say, there's no exclusivity from the buyer. The buyer is not going to say, oh, well, I'm stopping viewing. No, if they see something that they like, that they think they can get for better, cheaper, whatever, they can withdraw. Whereas here, your 10%'s down.
Exactly.
And not many people can just kiss goodbye to 10% of an average house price of, what, 4 mil, £800,000?
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to risk. And obviously there are clauses in there that protect you if it downvalues by a certain figure and, you're not stuck to having to buy that house and find all this extra money. There are clauses in there to protect you as a buyer, especially as a mortgage buyer. We always would say, make sure your offer is subject to final mortgage offer so that 10% isn't risked if there is a problem with the bank at the last minute. You're not committed to finding 4 mil cash all of a sudden or losing 10%. Like you are protected in that instance, but it does kind of work for the buyer and the seller to secure the house. No one else can come and outbid you. Like the deal is done. The seller can't look for a better offer, change their mind. So there's pros and cons to it, but I do like it, and I think other places should follow
suit. I agree. So look, you came to us through a convoluted story with my mom and Megan and Bingley and all of that jazz. And of course, it was a given that we would use your services when we wanted to buy a property here. But for those that don't know you in a personal manner like we do, what's the benefit of using you as a mortgage advisor versus anybody else?
I mean, we work with all the banks. So me personally, I don't just work in a specific bank. I'm not just pushing that specific bank's best product. We're working with all of them. So in terms of looking at what you can afford, some banks will lend more than others. Some banks will not I mean, obviously it didn't apply to you guys, but for some clients, they've just started their job or they've just moved here, and their bank that they set up with for their personal banking will say, no, we need 2 years of continuous employment in the country, or you're in probation, it's a no. Whereas other banks will do it, but you don't know that unless you go and have conversation after conversation after conversation and take the time out, and 9 times out of 10 you get a different answer depending who you speak to.
That's what we love about Dubai. Yeah.
Whereas with me, it's one set of documents, one conversation, and then I will do everything in the background. Multiple applications, all the calculations, and then you just concentrate on finding the house.
Finding the place. And I have to say, even though our purchase was somewhat stressful, and there was obviously heightened emotions from you being pregnant and us selling the place that we really didn't want to sell, but we needed to make this place happen, the beauty of knowing that we just submitted everything to you and you said, look, don't worry, I'll take care of it, I'll find a solution. And actually you would come to us and say, hey, so we've reached this like dead end, but don't worry, because, you know, we're going to find a way around it.
I was like up at night being like, oh no, how are we going to fix this?
Well, I remember.
And I would ring you like 3 days later. I'd be like, well, there was a problem, but I fixed it.
And you know what though, that is invaluable, and that's probably it's probably the reason that I would continue to recommend you, not just because you're a friend, but you do and
we take
did
all
find
the brunt
a way
of everything.
Yeah.
Like if you went direct to the bank, you would have had that call that would have caused mass panic. You would have thought, oh my God, it's not happening. Like, how do we fix this? You wouldn't have known how to fix it. The bank aren't as creative. So,
well, it's your, and ultimately, it is your responsibility because we've entrusted you.
Yeah.
You also want to get paid. Like, let's make sure that we understand this is a transaction. We need a house. You need paying for the work that you've done.
Yeah.
So it's like, we will find a way to make it happen.
And
because
we did find a way. And the thing is with using a broker over a bank is if one bank says no, there's another option. Whereas if you've gone to that bank and there's a problem, that's done. Deal done. You have to start again.
With another bank. I hadn't actually considered it in that way, but that's true. Okay, so then let's segue into what I've just mentioned then, which is you've got to get paid. Now, you're a mortgage advisor in Dubai. Famously, mortgage advisory roles, sales roles, lettings roles, they're commission only, which means no basic salary. Scary for anybody watching this thinking, oh my God, what do you mean there's no basic salary?
Yeah.
So you've talked to us about your job and your son, but how do you juggle them both and ensure that you feel like you're getting the best of both worlds?
It's difficult. I think we were saying before we started filming, I don't know how to function not under stress anymore. Like I just live like this now. But previous to coming here, I was self-employed mortgage advisor. So that part of it wasn't a concern. I've never been a mortgage advisor with a basic. I think a lot of people assume that we do get a basic. We don't. But I just see it as self-employed. Like I take time off, I don't get paid. So the door is never closed.
And also the phone never stops. Like
the phone now does stop from 5:30 till about 7:30 because I am preoccupied with other things. But then we're back on.
Yeah.
We're back on the phone.
So note to self, if we need you between 5:30 and 7:30, no, it's Louis' time.
Yes. You're not going to get an instant response.
But actually, you're going to respond in an evening time or morning time to make sure that you...
I'll probably respond at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning rather than
peak hours.
7 o'clock at night because I'm generally going straight to bed after him. So...
It's great though that you have that flexibility to be able to do that, and actually we understand now as parents the importance of that, carving out that time.
100%, and it is. I do find it really hard to like balance, and I get the worst mum guilt ever. That I'm like, if I try and work from home in the afternoons, like, and he's there, I'm like, Libby, please go to the park.
Yeah.
Go to the park. Not alone. I do have a nanny. Let's
just say Dubai is safe, but not that safe.
Yeah, he is only 3.5. I do have help at home, so I have an amazing nanny. She lives with me, so she does take over the afternoons, which helps. I would not be sitting here like this today. I would look like I'd been dragged out of bush backwards.
But do you not think that that's, and it's often a bit of a taboo subject. And when we first mentioned that we had Dalika and we had help from the perspective of a housekeeper, part of you thinks, oh, should we say it? Should we mention it? Because actually some of our audience will think, oh God, who do they think they are? Sadly, or not sadly, it is a way of life. We have chosen to move away from the UK. You two, we've come to Dubai, where the stakes are high. You have to work hard. In your case, commission only, targets, pressure. You've got your mouth to feed, Louis' mouth to feed. Like, it's okay to say, no, I have got home help. Because actually, if I didn't have home help, I wouldn't be half the things I am today.
I physically could not do it all without.
Yeah.
The first year I didn't have help. I did look like I'd been dragged through a bush backwards most days.
No.
I mean, maternity in Dubai is 12 weeks. I had him in June. I was back in the office September. He went to nursery at 12 weeks. I know a lot of people in the UK probably thought, is she insane? What is she doing? Like, you get a year off, but no one's paying me for that time off. Like, it's expensive. Like, I can't just live for free. So he did go to nursery, went in the nursery straight opposite the office. That was our routine. We came down, we got in the car, we drove to nursery, came to the office, worked all day, had some adult company, went home, picked him up, bath, bed, done. Repeat for a year. Then we got help.
But I think it's important, and I think it's important to know that actually without the help, we probably wouldn't be able to be functional or be as successful, and you probably wouldn't be able to give the level of service to your clients that you do if you didn't have that respite. Or to Louis, sure.
I was like on the edge. Like stressed, snapping, tired. I'm like, no, I can't do it all. Whereas now we've got a good balance. Like I work the days, she helps me with him, she takes him to the park so I can work from the house, and then this is why I say we're like 5 till 7, 7:30. Like, I don't touch my phone because I'm very aware that that's my time.
Yeah.
Like, he's in the park with her, and then I get a bit jealous, and I'm like, well, I want to be in the park. But then I'm like, well, I can't go to park with him because then I don't make any money, and then if I don't make any money, then I don't have a roof over the head, and that's worse.
Balance,
that's the mum guilt of, well, I want to be in the park, but I also don't want us to be homeless, so...
And it's not necessarily just being homeless, but it's about enjoying a lifestyle, right? Do you feel that doing the job that you do and enjoying the success that you have so far is addictive?
Yeah.
Not even you don't even need to think about that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's addictive. And it fuels you to want to do more, to have more, to get more. Yeah.
I think as well, like, once you buy a house, have school fees to pay, you need to sustain a certain level of income, which is hard. Like, it's consistency. Yeah. Consistency is the hardest part of it.
But I think, and you hear lots of people talk about it, but consistency and effort trumps skill a lot of the time, right? Like, if you can show up consistently, you don't need to be the most articulate or the most, numberous in your mind. You need to consistently show up and put clients together. And that's the same in recruitment. It can be the same as being a mom, being a dad. We're not always practicing the best versions of ourselves every day, but we consistently show up. Yeah. Right? And actually sometimes that consistency is better than sometimes the skill. Maybe I'm talking rubbish. I have a question for you, and Amelia will hear me give my answer to this all the time. And it's about the market. So, let's say I am that buyer that we talked about earlier on that was quite green, didn't really know what I was doing. I've then spoken to you, I've gotten the advice, I've got my ducks in a row, and then this age-old line comes out. I'm going to wait for the market to crash. Your response
all I'm going to say is all those people that bought in COVID... double, triple, quadrupled their money.
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad that you say that, and I'm glad that that's the same line, because whenever I'm talking to friends or colleagues, and it's like, oh, you know, I think I'm going to wait for the market. Wait for the market to do what?
No.
If you bought 5-10 years ago, likelihood is your property is going to be worth more money. And actually, we are examples of that, both in the Old Town property that we had, in the properties that we bought in the UK that we're now selling. I'm sure you will have experienced it yourself as well. Like, you buy a property, and if you make improvements and the market also improves, you're absolutely laughing. I can't get these
unless
people
you're
that go, I don't want
selling,
to.
unless you have to sell in a down market, you just ride it out. It's going to come back up again. Even if it does go down, it's going to go back up again eventually.
Yeah.
So if you don't need to sell and leave and
Then don't.
get rid of it, then don't. Ride it
on
through and carry on. 9 times out of 10, the mortgage payments are cheaper than rent. So what you're going to do, sell it and then rent and then pay the same or if not more.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
sit in your house and carry on paying your mortgage.
Well, as we said before, we're in our era of enjoying our mortgage. We are.
Me
we're
too.
enjoying
I am
it.
firmly in that era too.
I think it's okay though. Lean into it. Have nice, furnishings and fragrances,
we do
and
some renovations and making it exactly what we want. So
have some Deliveroo, get a movie on. It's okay to enjoy our mortgage. Okay, so I think what we've done here is we've established that you are a successful mom, a successful mortgage advisor. We've had first-hand experience. What's something that you would tell yourself now or back then that you wish you'd have known? And actually, I'm going to tee that question up slightly differently. What's something that you would tell your past self not to worry about? Because actually...
I think there's been times where you've had to start again and again and then again.
Yeah.
And every single time I think, oh my God, what if I can't do it again? But every single time it has worked out. So I would just say, trust the process. It always works out. I moved here, not knowing anyone, never even been to Dubai before, got on a flight, moved here. It worked. We had COVID. It worked again. I left the company to start again. It worked. I came back and it worked. So I just think if you've got the right mindset, it's going to work. It's going to work.
But that's interesting that you say if you've got the right mindset. Some people don't have the right mindset, and especially in the real estate industry in Dubai, it's a hot topic, right? I recruit for it, you work in it, but you get people that think that there's gold at the end of the rainbow. There is, but there's a hell of a rainbow to go before you get to the gold at the end. And mindset actually is something that you just got to constantly work on yourself. It's something that we work on together. It's something that you will work on for sure, right? But not everybody has it.
No.
Do you think it can be trained?
No. I didn't even know I had it until you do it. You just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I moved here in August. We went into lockdown in February?
Yeah.
March,
I think, yeah.
I was like all of a sudden working from home in a job I'd only done for 6 months, ringing people, being like, hi, do you want a mortgage? And they were like, are you joking? Screaming at me down the phone like, I am on half pay. I don't know if I'm going to have a job at the end of the month.
Oh my gosh.
And I just was like, next, ring the next one, ring the next one. And then when we did come back to the office in the June, I remember writing on a Post-it note and sticking it on the little board thing. So we had the plastic between everybody for the social distancing. And I was like, personal best month, June 2020. And then I did it. And I just think you've got to
Manifest
just do it.
Yeah.
Like if you just know it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Well, that brings me nicely on to, I guess, the final part of this podcast. And it's something that we've talked about before, and it's goal setting. And it's visions, because that's how we generally tend to operate. You need to have goals, but we have a vision of how do we want our life to look by the end of this year or in a few years' time or whatever. And it's something I knew you already did, but it's something since you've come back and we sit in similar parts of the office. So I see you daily.
You see my cloud.
I see your cloud. and I want you to tell Amelia and also our guests and our audience what The cloud is.
So the cloud didn't look like it looked online. I'll just say that. I thought I was getting this lovely, like, wooden pin board in the shape of a cloud. It was not. It's like a piece of, I don't even know what it is. Foam. Is it foam?
I think so,
Yeah, and it bends in half and I have to stick it back on every day. But it's got all my little photos on. It's got a picture of me and Louis. It's got the half marathon. It's got Kilimanjaro. Should we talk about another time? The figure that I want to do this year, and it's there every morning.
And do you find then that having it there and seeing it every morning gives you yesterday was a bad day, but we've had a good sleep, we dust ourselves off, we go again, and we
I
find
actually
the
have
strength.
a proper one in my bathroom, and it's got like life goals on. So like cars, houses, holiday destinations, like covering
More personal.
the next 10 years, which I see every morning brushing my teeth.
So you do 10 years?
I've done like life, yeah.
Mimi, I feel like we need to review. We're lucky if we get to the end of the year.
I mean, I do like smaller ones in January. I do like this year, I'm going to do this. But I do have a board that's got everything on. Stuff that has already been, like I've kept it up there anyway. Because I'm like, oh, wanted that car, had that car, sold that car now, but it's still on there.
Yeah. Almost like as a gratitude. Like I've been there, I've done it, and I've got the T-shirt, and I'm grateful that I was there. Yeah, fine. I like that.
And then it's mixed in with things that are still yet to be done.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, as we finish, the craziest thing that's on your 10-year board that you're like, oh my God, this has got to happen. If you're willing to share.
I mean, I think this year, it's been on there for a long time now, is Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
Every year it gets pushed back for one reason or another. I am doing it.
Yeah.
It's not booked, but by Q1, it's going to be booked.
Okay.
I'm going.
Amy's going, okay. I love it.
I think that's like the biggest one for this year, I think.
Love that.
Yeah.
And that brings us nicely to the end of this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's certainly been nice to go on a trip down memory lane. Thanks, Ames. And of course, just to bring it all back, Amy really is one of the reasons that we are in our home today. So thank you. If you've enjoyed this episode or you think somebody else will, please like, share, subscribe, comment, wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll see you next time.